Oh, yes. The time is here, people. Triggered Podcast is officially here, and this is episode 1. Ah, man, I'm not gonna lie, it's been, hey, it hasn't been the easiest journey to get here, but I'm so excited that we are here now. And right across here, this is basically where we're gonna be talking to people, getting their stories, and hearing what it's all about. This is the set for now. It might change, because things change in life, but this is where we are for now. And I'm your host, Rico Gomez. I'm the founder of NeuroFit. And what Triggered is simply a platform for us to see what the journey really looks like for someone to overcome their trigger. We're here to explore what could be triggering you and how do you actually process through that versus avoid that. I'm so excited because it's been a long time coming, but we're here now. And how I'm going to run this first episode is not so much like, hey, this is Trigger, this is what we're about. I kind of want to set the scene on what we are about. We are about vulnerability. We're about transparency. We don't gatekeep. We share the real honest truth about what it really looks like to overcome some things. And so this episode 1 is simply me setting the tone of that. I'm going to share a little bit about me, a little bit about the journey through here, about what we're about. But it's not scripted. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to invite Ozzy. Ozzy's going to jump on now, and he's going to have a seat up in here. And what Ozzy's going to do, let's go. I'm going to have a seat. Here we go. This is Ozzy. Come on now. Ozzy is part of the team here. He does a lot. He coaches people for NeuroFit. He also has his own business in the leadership space. He also runs a networking company. He is the man. And we are going to have an episode where I simply just dig on Ozzy.
Oh, fun. Let's go.
and hear a bit more about your story. But for episode 1, bro, I'm keen for you just to like throw questions out that you feel may be relevant, that you feel may be relevant to people, relevant to this podcast, and really just to get a bit more of me. Maybe it's vulnerability, maybe it's the truth, maybe it's how did we get here, all that kind of stuff. And then that kind of just sets the tone for the pod.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, bro. So let's
come on.
Let's go.
Come on.
But anyway,
100%. Obviously, you mentioned that this is, the first episode. It's been a long time coming. Knowing you personally, I know that if you want to reach Rico, you're going to have to, text him, maybe even email him, or if you don't have him on Messenger, because you're not on stuff like Instagram, that most people are on. So it's been absent from the socials for a while. And if you go back onto the NeuroFit Instagram, I don't even know if the photos are still up. It'll be like some old photos,
sporadic,
which I'm pretty sure
sporadic.
This guy might be saying he's embarrassed of. So with
Aren't
that,
we all? If you go back into your archive, I'm sure you're embarrassed. I'm sure we're all.
there may be some stuff that triggers you. Who knows?
Is that one person listening right now? They're like, nah.
Yeah, they will get triggered for sure. Nah, let's not play around here. People will get triggered about that stuff.
Oh man.
But with saying that, you've been off socials for a while, and
Yes.
if anything, if you're trying to find NeuroFit, you wouldn't really see them NeuroFit active that much. Why now? Why do you feel now is the right time to start Triggered and start to sort of, take the cover off and
jump back into putting ourselves on socials? Yeah, well, it's such a good question. So I think when I first started the business, I thought starting the business was to have a voice on social media. And back then, I knew nothing of business, right? No, didn't know how to sell, didn't know how to create a good product. Just thought, be known, because that's what people do.
Hub.
But at the time, what I was doing was I was just another voice in the market saying the same thing. I think back then, and we're going for 2016, 2017, trying to do something on in that space. Yeah, I was just like a clanging cymbal.
Oh, a lot of noise.
A lot of noise, bro. Yeah. Not leading people to overcome stuff, not helping anyone. Just giving, my 2 cents to a topic where my 2 cents wasn't actually needed at the time.
Wow.
What I needed was to to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
What I needed was to grow in the background, to do the hard yards, not for clout. I think, and so yeah, I think back then I jumped off. I did a brand strategy session for NeuroFit 2019, I think.
Mhm.
2019, yeah, somewhere there. And what really stood out to me was the people I love to work with and what we do wasn't like I didn't find those ideal clients on Instagram
Mm.
and on Facebook, and I was like, oh, why? If
Well,
I
I'm
want to
not putting
spend,
all my time here.
yeah, I'm
Like,
spending a lot of
yeah.
time, and those aren't the people that I really want to work with, right? Or these are the people that I really want to work with right now. I'm like, I
Mhm.
just want to get more of them because they grow me, they stretch me, they force me to go and study more, all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I want more of that.
Mm.
And so yeah, I jumped off socials. I just went LinkedIn,
Yeah.
which was, what we'd say the boring social media. No pictures, just words.
Yeah.
But I went down that track and I thought, well, that's what I'm gonna do,
Mm.
And so for the last 5 years, all we've done, or all I've done is grow in the background.
Mm.
Test, learn. I think some things are meant to be displayed and some things are not.
Oh,
I think today what we do is we display everything thinking that's the roots,
yeah.
but we're displaying, like, like there's a tree here. And
Mhm.
I feel like what we do is our roots aren't meant to be displayed, bro. Like they're in the ground.
Mhm.
They are, they need nurturing.
Yeah.
It's nothing glamorous.
Mhm.
And so I think what we do is we don't grow roots these days. We try and display everything,
Yeah.
thinking that everything is like a highlight.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, you got no depth or no substance. And when I was on socials, I had no depth or substance.
Wow.
I hadn't had a client yet. I hadn't had I didn't have a track record. I didn't actually help someone through big solutions. I just had knowledge,
Mm.
and knowledge is nothing. Like everyone can get knowledge somewhere. Like you go ChatGPT, got you knowledge, bro. You don't have to. I'm like, spend 5 years, get a degree, spend 5 minutes for ChatGPT, you're good to go. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
obviously that's generalizing it, but I'm just saying, like, knowledge doesn't mean life change.
Yeah.
Knowledge doesn't mean depth. Knowledge is knowledge.
Yeah.
It's cheap these days.
Yeah. What was that quote? Knowledge is only potential power. Like,
Oh,
without actually applying it,
yeah.
it's dormant. Yeah.
And I think that's why I was a glowing symbol making noise, because all I had was knowledge and
Yeah.
no character, no depth, no experience, no emotional equity, no this,
Yeah.
and that's
Wait.
the stuff I had to get.
As something that you said there, I feel like it's very important. What part does character play in all this journey? Because I see a lot of people, like what you mentioned online,
Mm.
they are super active, but they're all substance, no depth. So what part does character come into play amongst all of that in your journey?
But oh man, I think one, it has everything. It
Mm.
has like, I think today your paycheck is more based on your character than your experience.
Mm.
Well, not your experience, because character is built through experience, but your paycheck's more stacked towards that than your knowledge.
Yeah.
Purely because character is what is a person can trust. Knowledge you can't trust because
Mhm.
everyone can, So I think for me, I thought I had character because I had knowledge.
Yeah.
I had to go through some stuff
Mm.
to understand that my character had to be developed.
Yeah.
Before I went through some stuff, I thought my values stood strong.
I was the man.
I thought I was the man, right?
Yeah.
I thought my values stood strong. I thought I could be who I am everywhere, no matter what.
Mhm.
Until the pressure comes on, you realize, crap, I wasn't myself then.
Yeah.
Oh, I avoided that. Oh, I was too scared to do that. And you don't realize how strong your character really is
Mm.
until you go through some testing.
Yeah.
And for me, I had to come off socials to go put my character through the fire, bro.
Wow.
But then, yeah, I think now looking at it, I'm like, someone said to me one time, not to me, I listened to it on a podcast, and they were like, you can have read all these books and have all these highlights and stuff, but until it meets your lived experience, you do not know it.
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
And I think that's for me, yeah, that's been the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Before we get on to, because I know throughout this podcast, we're going to be interviewing, a lot of people hearing about their stories and essentially hearing about the results of, the work that you've done in all these years to gain that understanding and depth. But before that, I just want to touch on something that you mentioned. whilst you've been on socials, you probably would have been seeing other people in your field, maybe outside, that you're like, oh man, if I just went on socials, or if I just, put
Oh
my name
yeah,
out there, I could be,
yeah,
progressing. It almost feel like you're being overlooked in a way where you're not seen. How did you battle with that, man, and come out on the other side?
yeah. Well, it's tempting,
Yeah.
right? I think for me, I think it definitely was. It was definitely tempting to jump on the train,
Yeah.
and uh, I think for me, I always had to come back to who do I feel called to serve right now,
Mm,
and it always set me straight.
yeah.
I think in the last 12 months is when the people I feel like I'm called to serve is changing.
Hmm.
But back then, when the temptation came of, oh man, just go hard and build that personal brand on socials, man. You can do that. This person's doing it. They're racking up dollars. They're
Yeah.
getting clients, and you're like, yeah, that's good for them. But that's not my race. That's not my story. That's not what I've got to live my life.
Mm,
And what I have is not for those people right now. What I have are for these people.
mm,
And I need to make sure that I serve these people to the best of my ability. If I get too distracted with this, I won't be able to serve this person. But I
yeah.
remember one time, and this is the memory that's coming up now as you said talking about this, right? I was a person that was just like, if I'm needed, I'm of value,
Mm,
and so I'll be the yes man.
yeah.
Oh man, someone needs me. Yes, finally, I'm
Oh,
seen,
that
I'm
people
heard.
pleasing in
I'm
there.
bro. People pleasing was big. So to go away from that, I had to do a lot of work on myself because now I'm not getting that validation anymore,
Mm,
right? So I did some work on myself. I remember I got referred to go meet this person one time, and they're doing some epic things in the community. Like, I mean, epic, like feeding the homeless, prison work, like all this stuff. And I was like, man,
yeah.
this is so cool. When I went to go meet him, he's like, oh, Rico, mate, like you could be doing, I see you over here. We need you doing this. We could have this place over here for you, and your team can help. And
Wow, I'm wanted.
I'm
I'm
so
seen.
wanted. I'm so
Yeah.
seen right now. And I said no. And he tried to make me feel guilty for saying no because he's like, well, can't you see the need is here?
Mm,
And I'm like, yeah, it's your need.
yeah.
You're called to serve that, not me
Yeah.
right now. I went to the car after that and I was like, whoa, first, Rico, good job.
Hmm.
You didn't get swept away by someone's wanting of you.
Hmm.
Um, yes, two, I could have helped them. But what I would have done was said yes to those people,
Yeah.
which means the people that I feel like I have a place to help the most gets less of me.
Yes.
And so I had to come to this realization, like, I'm not called to help everybody.
Hmm.
I'm just called to help the people that I feel like I'm called to help right now.
Yeah.
And when that changes, then I shift and change.
Mm,
That's where we're at now. Is like it's a bit of a transition.
yeah.
Um, yeah, bro.
Wow.
So
That's very important. And it can be very easy. For example, like you get some of these, incredible results. And I know a leader who was sort of going on this journey as well. It's like getting incredible results. The people who, you change the lives of, like, man, lots of people need to know about this. Why don't you do X,
yes,
Y, and Z? But it's like, no, now's not the time. Like
yeah,
for yourself, I'm sort of hearing kind of the same of like, I know what my race is and what my journey is. And even though we're getting these amazing results, now still not the time. And I
yeah,
think knowing that is super important, to be able to make that difference. But
yeah, bro.
obviously, you've coached hundreds of people through the program and the mental mess before all of this. But what mess did you have to face yourself? Talking about getting vulnerable now.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, well, I mean, the I think this is probably the key thing because I think I'll get into my story, right? Like,
Mm,
I think the key that got people to really want to do the NeuroFit program was knowing that I had to do it myself,
mm,
that I understand it myself, that I've been through it,
yeah.
versus like I'm just a knowledgeable person.
Hmm.
Um, the mess I had to go through was yeah, both my wife and I we battled with depression and chronic anxiety. Back then I didn't know what anxiety was, didn't know what depression was, but I was isolated. If I and it wasn't a so I didn't really talk to anyone about it. And back then, this was going 11 years ago now.
Mm,
There wasn't much out there. It's like you go see a counselor, go to the gym. Um, that's about it,
yeah.
right? Like, that's pretty much what was in. So I was like, oh, man, what do I do with this? It didn't happen all at once. Like I was, man, I was young and naive, and I was in a job that I thought would be, my career path for the rest of my life, and I saw where I wanted to go at that time, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm just gonna run it straight as fast as I can
Mm,
and as hard as I can, because when I get there, it'll pay off."
yeah.
Um, and so I did, and then I worked late nights, early mornings. Um, and my marriage at the time, my first year marriage, looked like a Tuesday night,
Wow.
maybe once a fortnight, like, and back then, like, I remember this one time, bro. It's just a memory still we still had to. My wife's still dealing with now, and we're 11 years later, but she, it was our first year anniversary,
Mm,
and there was an event happening that was out of Christchurch that they asked me to go. My job asked me
mm,
to go, and I was like, "Oh, like, it's my first year anniversary," like, and they're like, "Yeah, well, this is what this is good for your progression. You need to go." And
mm.
I couldn't say no, bro. I struggled to say no,
Oh.
because saying no to me was like, "See, you don't cut it. You're a failure."
Mm.
But I was saying no to my wife the whole time. Every time I said yes to them,
Oh,
I just didn't
wow.
see it. And so I said yes, and my wife still forgiving me for that.
Mm.
First year anniversary, we had a trip planned, had to cancel the trip because I couldn't say no
Wow.
to it. So that's how bad it was, right? Like, I was
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, this is what it is." And so, yeah, got to the arguments at home, got real bad, and then we just got to the point where my wife was like, "I think we just should go our separate ways and split."
Wow. So
Uh,
that was like thrown on the table
yeah, that was
then.
on the table, and that's when I was like, "What am I doing?"
Mm.
I Yeah, I then thought, "Oh, I'm just gonna have to quit my job."
Mhm.
Like, I didn't marry my job. I married her. I got to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy that, and this is just me, but I don't want to be that guy that chose work over the family.
Mhm.
It wasn't modeled to me
Yeah.
growing up, and so I was like, nah, like,
Wow.
I value family over work, and so therefore, what am I doing?
Mm.
So I quit my job, and no one agreed with it at the
Mhm.
time. No one could understand it, but no one was going through what I was going through at home. And so I quit my job, and I got the first 9 to 5 that I could find, which was a good old delivery driver,
Oh.
and that was probably like the first like big sting for me, because when I thought this was going to solve all the problems at home, it didn't, and made room for everything that was bottled up to now come out.
Mm.
And at the same time, I was in this place where I was progressing,
Yeah.
and there was vision. So I'm like, there's purpose. Now I go to do this delivery driver job where it's mundane, and I'm doing the same thing every single day, and no one's focused on growth. Everyone's focused on comfort. And like, when I was at that job, bro, and I asked the person who was in his 40s, and I was like, "Hey, what would you give your 20-year-old self advice?" And he's like, "Leave your wife and go get rich."
Oh my days.
And I'm like, "What am I doing here?" So like, that was a hard thing, bro. So like, purpose went downhill, progression went downhill. I was embarrassed,
Mm.
and then my marriage got worse
Wow.
because I thought that one decision was going to fix everything. It didn't.
Mm.
Everything bottles up. My wife started. I came home one time. She's crying, and she's like, "I've been seeing a counselor. I've been battling suicidal thoughts." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Rico, you are the ultimate failure."
Mm.
And my thoughts just spiraled down into like, "This is all your fault. She wasn't like this before you got married. You did this to her," like all these things. And I was like, and so, yeah, fast forward, that kind of thinking pattern's going to release some toxic chemicals in my body. And later on, I
Mm.
don't want to get up. Depression, anxiety is real, and anxiety is chronic. Depression's getting heavier on a daily
Yeah.
basis. And both my wife and I just went, whoo.
Man.
And so at that time, yeah, nothing really was out there, right? So like, it's counseling, it's go to the gym, is eat healthier. People say like that. You jump on like, "Oh man, I'm unhealthy. I
Mm.
should go and do healthy things."
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do. Positive affirmations came in,
Mm.
gratitude
Classics.
list was coming in, and there's like, "Oh cool, we got like a 1 a week feeling good,"
Mhm.
and then bam,
Back into it.
back into it, and you're like, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" And so about a year and a half, we tried a whole bunch of stuff, and then I met with somebody, and they gave me a good slap to the face, and they said two things. They're like, "Rico, you can't expect your wife to change if you can't.
Mhm.
So how about you lead?" And I was like,
Wow.
"Ooh, okay." And then he goes, "If you don't have a battle to fight, what are you going to win?"
Mhm.
and it almost gave like purpose to the fight
Yeah.
for me. And I was like, and it was one thing I was looking for at the time was just like, I need a purpose.
Essentially just taking the purpose that you had before of like, man, I'm just going to go in this career and this. And it's like,
That's it.
I'm redirecting it to now my purpose is to work on
Is
my
get
marriage.
out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like solve this, and then actually work on my marriage. And I was like, that's my purpose.
Yeah.
I need to sort that out. So I jumped into like cognitive neuroscience at the time, got my hands on anything I could and try to figure out what's the brain, what's the mind, what are thoughts, what are emotions, how do I hack the system, and found some stuff. Everyone's saying this, how long it takes for the brain to change. Let's just do, I was like, well, I'm just going to do all these things for this amount of time. And worst case scenario, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, something happens. Right? So
Ain't got nothing to lose right now.
I got nothing to lose, man. I'm at rock bottom. So I was like, okay, let's go. So went through the process. 3.5 weeks later, all depression and chronic anxiety, big symptoms were gone for me.
Wow.
And I had energy back. I had purpose back. I never felt bogged down by my brain. And now having greater understanding of what thoughts and emotions were, I never felt afraid of what would come in my brain. Like if a negative thought would come, I wouldn't fall victim to it. I know how to handle it. And that was probably like oh man, I feel free, but now I feel equipped.
Yeah.
Which is also more empowering than just getting a result.
Yeah.
And so after that, I was like, I told my wife, I was like, babe, I know what to do. And classic, I'm like the fixer, right? So I'm like, let's go.
It's like all guys right now listening
classic,
to like, we get you.
I solved the problem, right? And so she took a while, but she got there eventually. She went through the same process, and yeah, she went from suicidal to loving life. And part of it was the work that she did. Part of it was also I had the ability to now understand how to love my wife. And I think that I don't think I've talked about that part, but I think that was the foundation of her being able to do what she knows is right.
Wow.
I think at that time we're having arguments, and she's like, "You just try to fix me," which is classic. You're like, guys,
yeah,
accept me for who I am, and
because we can fix everything.
Yeah, but yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, you know what? And she says something to me, and she's like, "Rico, you gotta understand. I know the truth. I just don't feel the truth."
Ooh.
And I was like, well, at that time, I was like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Feel the truth. I was like,
right here.
Man, what are you talking about? But I got to realize my job is not to tell you what to do. My job is to help you feel. And that means my job is to nurture your heart that is hard. If your heart is hard, why would you do something? It's like throwing seed on hard ground. Yeah, nothing to work, right? So I was like, my job is to nurture your heart. How I do that is I need to learn how to love you. Yeah. So that was the first part of like, I need to learn how to love you, and love is sacrificial. Love is stepping outside my comfort zone and doing some things that's not my norm. But I had to do that, and then that got her to a point where she's like, okay, I'm going to do this and work on my mental game.
So if you want to keep in that same sort of mindset, I guess, analogy about, the hard ground, you got to make it soft, all that sort of stuff. So you're saying you loving your wife was essentially like tilling the ground. I don't know what running out of farmer talk here, but
we got the oxen,
yeah, my father was a farmer. I'm like, I still don't know.
But we both from Africa, bro. Surely we.
It's crazy.
We can
we can say that to each other.
Yeah,
because we're both African. Rico doesn't look like he is. But
my hair, bro. My hair.
But anyway, we digress.
Anyway, yeah.
You loving your wife was essentially getting the soil ready.
Yeah.
So that now when the, I guess, change or the solution can come and you plant the seed, it actually sticks and grows, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%, man. I think we underpin what love is hard, man. Love is, you got to die to yourself to love somebody.
Yeah.
And I think we often think we can say, I love you. It's just a classic, like, my love language is words of affirmation. That's her worst. It's her lowest. and hers is her
Wow.
top one is time, right? So I was always like, I love you, babe. She's like, no, you don't. You don't spend any
Clearly.
time with me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what, really? I thought we spend all the time with everyone, you know? Like,
Wow. Classic.
yeah,
Classic.
classic, man. But yeah, I had to relearn just the basics, and then I had to relearn how to communicate, how to listen, how to share my own feelings, all that kind of stuff. And then it actually like made her feel safe, not judged, heard, understood, seen, all those things.
Yeah.
I'm like that moves a person towards taking big action.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in terms of from there, my passion just went through the roof.
Yeah.
When my wife went from suicidal to loving life,
Mm-hmm.
My passion for this went through the roof, and I was like, oh, I should become a therapist. And so went down that process, like that's career progression.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, I'll become a therapist, and went into studying psychology and counseling. When I finished, I was like, I don't want to be a therapist anymore. Main reason for me was the tools were awesome. The system I'd have to hop into wasn't awesome in my eyes. What I saw was that it created a lot of codependency and no brain change.
Yeah.
And for me, brain change, one, changed my life, saved my wife's life, and saved our marriage. And so for me, I was like, I want to equip people to get their own tools and then take ownership of their own brain so they can go live their life without me.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of the thing that sparked all the excitement for this. They got me into the space.
Yeah. I love that. Two things that you mentioned. I was trying to do my best to like put a pin in them.
Hey,
I'm going to circle
tough,
back to
bro.
this for sure. The first one was you got to a point where you're like, something needs to change. And I know working with some of our clients, that's one of the things that I'm most interested to hear, because we can all know, there's something wrong going, there's something that's going on that's not right. But getting to a point where you're like, man, something needs to change. I think you described it before as being slapped with like a wet fish or something like that. Like, or maybe it was something else. Maybe that's my African in me coming out. Who
No
knows?
one's ever slapped me with a wet fish, but I would have thrown hands. I was slapped with a wet
For sure.
fish.
But it was that. And also you stepping out of your job now gave room for everything that was buried under the carpet to like start to rise. And I think that's one of the things that stops people from wanting to open up the can of worms. So they bury themselves in like performance. I've worked with clients that were like, man, I'm gonna go and tackle, this marathon or this crazy physical athletic feat just to try and squash that. And I'm like, that's the worst thing I can think about to do to deal with all that pain. But throughout that process, obviously you've learned a whole bunch of stuff based on the clients that you've worked with, and we'll hear more about their stories soon on this podcast. But what have you learned along this journey about healing and growth that most people don't talk about?
Yeah, well, healing and growth is not short term. And I think everything that everyone's doing today is short term. Healing and growth is a big price to pay because it's internal. It's not like, oh, I went to the gym and, yes, you can grow your muscles, and people know at the gym, like that whole journey is a long-term journey and you got to sustain it. But that doesn't mean as my legs grow, my love for somebody grows. Or as my legs grow, my guilt disappears.
Yeah.
Like all the internal stuff is harder than physical because you don't see anything. You just feel it, right?
And other people don't see it.
And other people don't see it. So it's even harder because you're like, oh, no one understands. I'm too afraid to say, all these kind of things. So there's that part of like, okay, cool. It's hard. There's a price to pay for healing and growth. Also, healing and growth, like it's the same thing physically. I can't grow anything unless I take on what is hard. Internally, I can't grow unless I can't overcome what triggers me unless I go and find out why it's triggering me. And look at that. Look at the deeper issue. What I also have discovered over the years is that people that are physically unhealthy aren't worse off than people that are physically healthy. Often the people that are physically healthy are more messed up internally than the ones that are not.
Oh, explain.
Like you said it, they like we use short-term performance, right? What I realize is that performance is a good drug. It's like we get addicted to it.
Yeah.
Like if you think of this, right? Like If I'm at 0 and I have to perform, so I go from 0 to 100, and I now can compartmentalize. I can become efficient. I can get something done. Like
Mm.
I'm operating at my best, and your brain needs to do that. You're built to do that,
Mm-hmm.
100%. But then we get served with validation from that,
Yeah.
approval from that, acceptance from that,
Mm-hmm.
praise. You're like, oh man, this must be who I am.
Yeah.
So then what we do is we do all we can to live up there the whole time.
Yeah.
But that's not how you sustain performance. To sustain performance, you've got to be able to come down and look at yourself and then go back up when performance is needed,
Mm.
right? But most people like to get to this part and then they'll start going down, don't like the discomfort and boredom, and they'll look at how can we get up as fast as we can again.
Mm.
Bam. And so that's good for a while until you can't sustain it anymore. Then you begin to add on healthy things to sustain, to quick boost,
Mm-hmm.
juice cleanse, breathing exercises, like we use gym, we use yoga, we use all these things to give me a quick boost.
Yeah.
Not saying those things are bad. We just use them for the wrong thing.
Mm.
We use them for a quick boost to get back up here so that we can be seen again. It's like a quick boost for a quick hit.
Mm.
Hard part is you never look at yourself.
Yeah.
And so therefore, all of this is accumulating. Eventually, you're not performing at this. You're performing at a 50%, taking on the 100% pressure
Mm.
of what needs you to be at 100. But you can only perform at a 50 because you've been on decline most of
Wow.
your life. And that's when the burnout comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I found is that the people that we've worked with that we assume are good
Mm-hmm.
are so far from good.
Oh.
Let's just be honest, man. Like, yeah. So I think that's why, yeah, on the growth end, because the hard and man, I'm stuttering a lot. But basically, those people as well also like they've been my ideal clients, right?
Yeah.
But what they struggle with is to change up the way that they grow,
Mm-hmm.
because this has been the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
And now to say, well, that's actually not going to solve this issue.
Mm-hmm.
You have to slow down, look at yourself. That's the hardest thing they can do.
100%.
Right. And so then the journey for them is way harder
Mm.
to get down to the root cause, restructure, come back up. But when they get to the other side, man, they appreciate it.
100%. And it's very interesting what you said there about, essentially what I got is like there's healthy performance and there's not healthy performance. Kind of like how we say there's healthy stress, toxic stress.
Yeah.
But getting to that unhealthy point of performance, it's like, okay, cool. I'm getting what you're saying of like unhealthy performance is when I use performance to try and cover something else.
And this is the thing is, yeah, and that's it. Am I using performance to cover something else? Like, how do I feel when I couldn't perform?
Yeah.
That's
Oof.
the thing you got to look at. And if that level of
Wait,
discomfort.
say that question again.
How do you feel when I couldn't perform?
That's a question for somebody out there. I know that.
Right? Like,
dang, yeah.
Because if I couldn't perform and now I feel worse,
Mm.
and then I'm rushing to get back to performance again,
Mm-hmm.
there's something going on.
100%.
Right? And if that's the way you do it, you cannot sustain that.
Mm.
That's short-lived. It's good. It's praised because you're performing at a different level to most.
Yeah.
But your sustainability in that and your longevity in that is non-existent.
Yeah.
Like, easy example, bro. I share this when I go and speak to companies around like longevity and performance.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember reading a story of two families going on a missions trip, and they went to a third world country, took the kids and everything, missions trip, and they're like, we're going to impact here. And they both had the same goal,
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff. But one family was, played a real cool, pretty simple, like, hey, we're going to start it like family breakfast in the morning. We're going to start work at 9. We're going to go out. We're going to do what's needed for the day. We're going to finish at 5, come home, all good. And the other family was like, we're coming here to impact, right? And so they would get up early, they get out there before the sun's up, that help with like, water, first aid, all this kind of schools, digging a well, all this kind of stuff that finish sometimes 8, sometimes 9, sometimes 5. So that's all over the place. When after about a year, the family going hard that everyone loved, like the town was like, oh man, you guys are the best, you're amazing. They started to get quite resentful to the other ones.
Interesting.
Because it felt like they weren't pulling their weight.
Mm-hmm.
But the family that was going so hard burned out after 2 years, and the other one lasted 40 years.
Wow.
And so then you go, oh, what actually made impact?
Mm-hmm. So true.
And I feel like so many people are short-sighted because they need to get the hit ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
So then they cut their longevity in life
Yeah.
for the short term versus you can actually still perform at your best, probably better
Yeah.
if you can learn how to come back down, look at yourself. Yeah, man.
Dude,
That's
that's
it.
so interesting. And it's kind of funny as well when performance is like the thing that I'm using to try and cover something else. And again, like what you said, is that thing that people praise a lot because
Yeah,
it's
bro.
seen, right? Once you start to crave that, it could almost be like to the people that care, that are most important to our lives, you know, family members, sometimes even colleagues, clients, that sort of stuff. It can almost be like, get out of my way. I'm trying to get to,
Yeah.
you know, and we're saying no
And
to the
I was
people
like that, bro.
that need us the most, you know?
I was like that
Mm.
because I thought the people that needed that loved me or the people I loved the most would always be there
Yeah.
until they weren't.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's true. Hey.
yeah. So it's interesting. But that's I'd say in terms of what I've learned through coaching some people,
Mm.
taking through them working on their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a lot, but I
Yeah.
think that's what comes to mind right now.
For sure.
Mm.
I love it. And obviously the podcast is called Triggered, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people have to get triggered to be able to actually do something about it. So a question for you, man, like why do you believe leaning into that trigger is where freedom starts?
Personal experience, I would say every time if I look at the last 5 years, this has probably been like this for me,
Mm.
where I've experienced healing, growth, and probably like freedom in certain areas that I never knew was possible,
Yeah.
all came from being triggered. Like none of it was like, what a nice season. I'm enjoying life right now.
Yeah.
On a
Yeah.
beach. Yes, we finally made it. You know,
Yeah.
like it all came from being triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I decided to lean in to the trigger, find out why it triggered me, and then go down the process of healing for myself, which is the painful part.
Mm.
Growing pains gonna come.
Yeah.
But then coming to the other end of saying like, oh my gosh, I've never felt this free before. Man, worth it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we've gotten results that have been so different to other companies or people in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
For our clients, has been like, okay, cool. We're not going to just put boundaries on triggers. No. We're going to make trigger the asset, and we're going to find out why the heck it's triggering you. And all of a sudden, you go in the same environment and you don't get triggered anymore, and
Yeah.
therefore you level up. I also realized that everything I do would be capped if
Wow.
I can't get over. Like I was writing something today. I'll check on LinkedIn eventually, but it was on like criticism would trigger me, right? Because it made me feel like it would remind me that that I'm stupid. So that's a big belief of mine. Didn't know I had that belief, but I knew that my emotional life, when someone gave me criticism, went all over the place. And I would tell myself all this logic and positive things like, Rico, they got some fair points there. It's actually going to help you. But internally, I'm like, nah, this guy hates me. He's going to tell everyone that I suck. Like, they would just,
Wow.
so the emotional response is all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So I would avoid criticism, right? I would avoid improvements.
That's a tiring way to live because there's so
Bro.
many ways to avoid that.
Oh yeah, perfectionism, overthinking everything, triple checking everything out of fear. So like I'm doing that, and you get to this point where the business is growing and I can't keep all ducks in a row anymore. And I've got two options. Keep my business back to keep myself safe, which is actually selfish because now all these other people can't get what they need, or level myself up.
Yeah.
And then I had to go and work on myself in that and deal with this belief that I'm stupid, that the fear of rejection and fear of abandonment, and that people are going to leave me if they realize I'm dumb.
Wow.
And so I had to do that. But once I did that, all of a sudden, the criticism came, or like I remember I went to, it was probably like 3 months after I dealt with that. I spoke at OPES. And I was like, like now, feedback doesn't trigger me. And I knew as I said that, I was like, damn it.
Just invited.
I shouldn't have done that. But then the head of marketing, at the time there, he's not there anymore, but he emails me an hour later and he's like, oh man, I'd love to give you some feedback. Here it is.
Classic.
But I didn't get, my emotional life was exactly where my logic was.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh man, that's valid. He's like, oh, your easy point offer is not the greatest. It could actually be improved this way. This is what we do. And so I contracted him on to help me create an easy entry point offer,
Mhm.
you know? And, but I could have said no because I would have been triggered.
Yeah.
I could have deleted that message.
Not replied.
Not
Yeah,
replied.
classic.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, the growth only comes when you take on what's hard.
Yeah.
Same
And I
with
like that.
healing. Like you don't discover where you need to heal until it gets exposed to you.
Mhm.
And then the freedom is the result of you doing the work.
Yeah. And I like what you said there about me not leaning into that trigger is essentially capping myself. One thing that I've learned going through, I guess, my thought detoxes and doing my own healing and growth is that the stuff that I don't deal with is stuff that my son now will have to deal with. I mean, he's only 5 months old, but
I get you.
I'm looking at the things that my parents didn't deal with first and foremost around, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, that sort of stuff. And I remember a story where my mum, was she came back from work and she sat my sister and I down. This is probably when I was, 13, 14 years old. My sister's a couple years younger than me. And she's like, look, you guys need to work twice as hard than, the Kiwi and the Australian kids, because we're living in Australia at that time. You need to work twice as hard as them just to prove that you're at the same level because of the color of your skin, essentially.
Yeah.
So me hearing that, automatically I'm like, okay, cool. My performance now is what decides my self-worth. And looking at all that sort of stuff and just seeing how it affected me and my life up until I actually had that trigger and realized, man, I need to deal with all this stuff that I actually was able to overcome. So if I hadn't overcome that, that would have been my son's problem because I would have just been repeating the same story and the same narrative that she had, right? So that's what I love what you just said there of like, if I don't deal with this, it caps my growth. But really it caps,
future generations.
Exactly.
100%. I get that, man. I see it like, and it's probably like the thing that motivates my wife and I now is like when we respond, you're like, oh, like my kids are getting the worst of me right now. And that's not on them.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Hard.
I got to sort that out. Because like you said, like if your mom had dealt with that, she probably wouldn't have said that to you.
Exactly.
Probably would have said, you know what, Ozzy, obviously like the classic of like racism isn't a thing, but we are not less than, you can do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah.
I think the bigger thing is if she also dealt with that, she would have done that for herself and you would have seen it modeled.
Exactly.
And that's the part of like what kids are watching these days.
Oh, and yeah, they don't do what you say, they do what you do, right?
Yeah, they're watching it. So I think what we realize is a lot of people know stuff and that's really like knowledge isn't dealing with anything. But when you've dealt with something and your actions change, that's what brings freedom to your kids.
100%.
So yeah, man. Ups to you, bro.
For sure. No, I appreciate that, man. For me, that was most of the questions that I wanted to ask. Just keeping an eye on our time. I don't want us to go too over.
It's good.
But I think that was a good intro into what the podcast is, how this came to be, and how you dealt with your own, I guess, mental mess to be able to get to this point.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be good. Pod 1. I'm fizzing. We've got a lot of cool guests jumping on, sharing these stories.
For sure.
The one thing I want to say about this podcast is that it's not your ABC strategy to growth and success. It is pulling back the curtain to what the journey really looks like to overcome some triggers.
Yeah.
To get to growth, freedom, healing. And so there's going to be a lot of vulnerability here, which I'm pumped to get out of you soon. Could he sit you there? I get to ask you the questions, Oz. It's gonna be good. But oh man, so stoked that if you stay this whole time listening, hey, ups to you. You are a real one. And subscribe because we got some epic conversations coming. Let's go. Let's overcome what may be triggering you.